You think this is funny?
In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby... Oh my goodness! Squidward!
Hello everyone, I'm sorry it took this long for this video to come out. There were some issues with my computer and I was busy with other videos and exams. Plants vs. Zombies 3 Welcome to Zomburbia is the newest installment in the main tower defense series of the PvZ series. Let's just say it's not looking too good. PvZ 3 has been around for a long time, with the pre-alpha being released on July 26, 2019, and the latest soft launch being on January 17, 2024. The game has since been widely criticized by the community for a multitude of reasons, with the pre-alpha being heavily criticized for the 3D art style, and the game looking like a Clash Royale ripoff, especially with that stupid sunflower elixir bar, and the game being in portrait mode. I'm not going to go through the entire history of PvZ 3 because I don't want this video to be too long. Nowadays, since the pre-alpha, the game underwent massive changes, as well as changing to landscape mode and into 2.5D. However, it's still receiving massive amounts of criticism, possibly even more, which I will be addressing in this video. Since the latest soft launch, I wanted to give this game a chance to see if it was really as bad as people play it out to be, which it was. Before PvZ 3, PvZ 2 was originally considered the worst PvZ game of all time due to the addition of microtransactions, ads, and higher difficulty compared to the first game, to which I never really understood the hate for the game. While I don't like that you actually need money to get premium plants, which aren't required for beating adventure mode, having an ad shoved in my face every second, I really enjoyed the adventure mode, despite some struggles. But this video isn't about PvZ 2. In this video, we'll be looking at everything good and everything bad about this game. Why do people hate this game? Can the game be improved? Why isn't PopCap listening to feedback? Was the pre-alpha better than now? With PopCap refusing to listen to feedback and EA rolling in their anti-cheat into Garden Warfare 2 and Battle for Neighborville, you'll probably be left wondering and worried for the future of the PvZ franchise. Keep in mind that I'm using the latest soft launch for this overview of the game, as the content in the game is subject to change as the game is technically not fully released yet. Also, since I've stopped playing this game for a long time, and it took this long to work on this video, some of the information might be outdated, but this is mainly my experience playing this game. In Plants vs. Zombies 3 Welcome to Zomburbia, Crazy Dave, or just Dave for some reason, eats a mysterious taco that makes him fall asleep after eating it. 3 months later, his niece, Patrice, who's from the comics, returns to find that the zombies have taken over the city of Neighborville and renamed it to Zomburbia. As you play and after Patrice wakes up Dave, you have to rebuild the city of Neighborville while facing off against a bunch of zombies. The game uses a 1 sun meta, which is supposed to function similarly to the 25 sun meta in PvZ 1. You only have one lawnmower in a mow, which isn't explained why you only have one lawnmower. Also, there are other characters such as Dr. Zomboss, of course, because he's the main antagonist, Tugboat and Nate, who are from the comics. Of course, as the game goes on, it'll start to get very painfully difficult as you continue, which leads us to the next part of the video. Now we're diving straight to the bad things about this game. Oh boy. The biggest thing that many people have an issue with is not being able to choose your plants anymore. Instead, the game chooses them for you, like you're playing a PvZ game where every level is a locked and loaded level. This is a problem because you can't make your own strategy to use any plants that are more effective on certain zombies. Also, the game can pick plants that aren't effective towards certain zombies. As a matter of fact, I did a poll to see which components of PvZ 3 that are most criticized to see which ones you guys hate the most, and not being able to choose your plants was the most voted, even though in my opinion, it's the level designs. Okay guys, quick update I want to make, but PopCap has announced that they are re-implementing Choose Your Seeds, or Pick a Plant. I'm still keeping that part in because of how long it took for PopCap to announce they're putting Choose Your Seeds in. They also said that they have been listening to feedback and making tweaks to difficulty behind the scenes. One thing I would like to say is, why? Why did it take 3 years to listen to feedback to implement Choose Your Seeds? I'm not being ungrateful. After all, this is a step in the right direction. They also have to focus on other issues though. Hopefully the feedback they receive is actually being read instead of being fed to a paper shredder. Another thing I would like to add is the fact that you can't see which zombies are attacking anymore. This is another problem because you don't know whether a zombie like a pigeon feeder, a bowling zombie, or a gargantua is coming, meaning you have to pray that the game doesn't throw gargantua at you, or spam pigeon feeders. Another major problem is, of course, ripping off of other shitty mobile games on the market, mainly Gardenscapes. The customization of the map and the UI is literally ripped straight from the game, and it doesn't feel like you're playing a third installment of PvZ, let alone any PvZ game in general. I mean, if they wanted to make a game like that, they should have just made it into a spin-off. It'll probably not perform well, but it would be better than labeling it as an official third installment. This also raises another question of, who is this game even made for? I understand that it's targeting more towards children and they're trying to appeal to the mobile game market, but with the Gardenscapes customization, who is this game even made for? I don't think any player returning to the series would look at the game and immediately think, Plants vs. Zombies. Another thing I would like to add is a lack of variety when it comes to plants and zombies. The only plants that come close to being a new plant is bamboo shoots, which takes a very long time to reload and takes 2 shots to kill a basic, and barely even pushes a zombie back, not even half a tile. And lychee, which is basically Endurian but attacks in a 3x3 radius and for some reason is not really used as you progress through the levels. As for zombies, there's the pigeon feeder, which is from the pre-alpha, bowling zombie, and rock and roll imp. There's also swinging zombie, but come on, you've seen that concept before, just with coneheads and bucketheads. This is one of the main reasons why many people prefer the pre-alpha, as it had a larger variety of plants and zombies, returning and new. Another thing I despise is the live system, another thing ripped from Gardenscapes. You usually have 5 brains, which are lives, and every time you lose a level, you lose one of your brains. This is an addition I feel is unnecessary and stupid because you're able to infinitely replay levels if you lose in the first 2 games. They also added Vase Breaker, but the levels are pretty boring and you don't get plants from the vases, instead you're given sun. Also there's a cooldown after playing a game. Now for some unnecessary changes. Cherry Bomb, Jalapeno, Chili Pepper, and Blover are demoted to simple power-ups, which is stupid because they were plants in the first 2 games that cost sun and you can plant. Another stupid change is with the number of damage zombies take. In PvZ1, basic zombies take 200 damage, which is 10 peas and 5 cabbages. It's the same thing in PvZ2, but the zombies take 190 damage, which is roughly the same. In PvZ3, basic zombies take more damage than usual for some reason, being able to take 14 peas and 6 cabbages. Either the plants got nerfed or the zombies take more damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14! Why couldn't it have been 10? See how many cabbages it takes to kill one basic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cabbages. It used to be 5, but not anymore. Snow pea is a plant that shoots peas that chills zombies, slowing them down. Originally costing 175 sun, which would be 7 sun in the 1 sun meta, and dealing 20 damage per shot, the same as pea shooter. In PvZ3, they cost only 4 sun, 100 in the 25 sun meta, and deal only half their original damage. No wonder why they're so angry. Oh, we're introduced to Snow Pea. It's 4 sun. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people say that Snow Pea's damage was halved. Also, Snow Pea looks angry. Yeah, I'd be angry too if I only did half the damage I originally did. I find this change to be unnecessary, and probably you do too. And I think that they should have left Snow Pea as it was, even if it's mainly meant for stalling. Now for the rotten meat and tomatoes of this game. The level designs. The worst part of this game in my opinion. The levels are absolutely god-awful. They either range from boring fillers of plants and zombies being introduced that need no introduction to spammy levels, especially in the nighttime levels. The difficulty in this game is so inconsistent. One level you're introduced to a plant or zombie from the first game, Another level you're met with a gigantic horde of zombies, all the while you don't have a great selection of plants. Unlike in PvZ2, where the levels get more difficult as you progress through adventure mode, the difficulty in PvZ3 is just all over the place, especially with dynamic difficulty. I know that. I'm pretty sure every toddler who's played this game who's never even heard of PvZ2 doesn't PvZ or PvZ2 or PvZ in general needs to know this. Now they're throwing pigeons at me because why not? Yeah, not letting the player choose their seeds was totally a good idea. There's a whole swarm of pigeons, what the fuck? To put dynamic difficulty in simpler terms, the more levels you complete, the more zombies spawn, and the more levels you lose, the less zombies spawn. This was a system in PvZ2 that was removed a long time ago, but in PvZ3, this is the worst application of dynamic difficulty in a video game ever. Not to mention, there are no mini-games or brain busters in this game. Also, you can't replay any of the levels, but then again, the game is literally built off of gardenscapes. Another thing I would like to mention that is relevant to this video is the fan game Plants vs. Zombies 3, What Could Have Been. On the 24th of May, the official Twitter account of PvZ3 What Could Have Been announced that PopCap and EA had contacted them to warn them to stop development. Obviously, attempting to challenge a corporation like EA isn't exactly the best idea, so they agreed to stop development. Holy shit, what absolute scumbags. Though it isn't the best decision to make the title of the game that of an unfinished product, that is the worst way to deal with a situation like this. Obviously, everyone was angry because these people literally took down this fan game because they were afraid it would compete with their absolute pile of shit. This fan game wasn't meant to generate any profit, but it was an entire reimagining of what PvZ3 should have been from the start. You want to know what would have been a better solution to this? It would be if EA and PopCap contacted them to enlist the help of the dev team for PvZ3 What Could Have Been to try to improve the actual vanilla game. Not whatever they did. Now excuse me, we're going to move on to the good. Now excuse my little rant there. Though the game has a ton of flaws, there are some things that I actually like in the game. I know this topic is controversial, but I actually like the art style in this game, especially in the cutscenes, even if the artists don't get the proportions right, specifically with the zombies. Gargantua looks like he skipped leg day. I would say that I like the art style on the plants more than the zombies, even though it's in 2.5D instead of full 2D. I also like the idea of integrating the comic book series into the games with Patrice, again Crazy Dave's niece, more recently Nate, and Tugboat, a zombie that says Tugboat, and the bestest PvZ character unironically. It would be nice if they also introduce other characters from the comics such as Frog Pants and Nigel, which are two other zombies. I do like that they kept the fact that though Crazy Dave is crazy, he is a smart guy who knows how to make stuff and is still obsessed with tacos. The music in this game is pretty decent, but for some, they don't fit the setting of each area, such as the music in Mount Queso Grande from the previous soft launch, sounding more like a beach theme than a volcano theme. I also kind of like the story to some extent and the idea of having to retake and rebuild Neighborville, but then again, the majority of levels are just fillers. I do like the inclusion of the zombie storyline to see what plans Dr. Zomboss is up to. Umbrella Leaf has been reworked to also target the swinging zombies and bowling balls, which is a nice detail. I also like the fact that Mole pulled an Oppenheimer reference at one point in the game. I also like how they change imps to be quicker but smaller and weaker zombies instead of a smaller and faster basic zombie. Despite the game being in a very shitty state, I don't want it to be cancelled, surprise surprise. After all, we haven't gotten another main tower defense game for 11 years since PvZ2's release. The first things are to bring back choosing plants and calming down with the pacing. Bring back some of the content from the pre-alpha, but keep the art style and don't make it into a Clash Royale clone again, as well as stuff from the previous games like mini-games and brain busters, reducing the level count, and removing some of those things you see in these shitty mobile games nowadays, namely the customization BS and HUD from Gardenscapes. Make chili pepper, jalapeno, cherry bomb, and blover into actual plants, letting us see which zombies are in each level, switch to either the 25 or 50 sun meta, lower the health of the basics to 200 HP, or make sure that pea shooters are able to kill basics in 10 hits, maybe refine the visuals on some of the zombies and to some extent the plants. Basically, listen to our feedback. Also, bring back plant food. There are also puddles in this game which form when it's raining in a level. Plants in these puddles attack faster and sunflowers produce sun faster. Though I like this mechanic, I feel there should be some form of compromise to it. Though I highly doubt PopCap will listen to any form of feedback from their community. Even if they did change stuff around, this game shouldn't have been in the state that it's currently in. Now you might be saying, oh, this game is still in its soft launch phase. Why are you giving it so much shit? It's not a full release. Well, yes, this is a soft launch, but that doesn't make it free from criticism. The purpose of a soft launch is to gain feedback for a game before it fully releases. If we don't give the devs feedback, then the game will be launched in a terrible state, and with stuff we don't want in the game. As for why I stopped playing PvZ3, as with each new update, PopCap adds more and more levels, which I ain't playing all of that. It just shows how stretched out this game is and how much they value quantity over quality, unsurprisingly. Also, the game is criminally boring, and also criminally painfully difficult. As such, I decided to stop playing the game altogether. I know some people might either agree or disagree with me, but for my final verdict, I'm giving this game a 1.5 out of 10. But if they ever do implement Choose Your Seeds, and if I ever for some reason wanted to play it again, I might raise it up to a generous 1.6 out of 10. Again, I don't think PopCap will listen to any feedback or will be changing their ways in the future, as they seem to be committed to what they're working with. This is an example of a sunk cost fallacy, which according to Google is the phenomenon whereby a person is reluctant to abandon a strategy or course of action because they have invested heavily in it, even when it is clear that abandonment would be more beneficial. And again, I don't want this game to be cancelled. They could change their directions, they could listen to their fans and win them back, but they chose to take the opposite road. The future of the PvZ series remains uncertain, and it'll only be a matter of time until EA and or PopCap does something to push the series off the edge. As someone who's enjoyed the first two games and to some extent Heroes, this worries me to a higher degree. Even if they did change stuff around, why couldn't they have done it sooner? Anyway guys, what do you think? Was I being too generous? Was I being too harsh? Is there anything I got wrong or anything I missed? What other score should I rate PvZ3 out of? What do you rate the game out of 10? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to share anything that you didn't like about the game that I didn't mention. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, and this marks the end of my PvZ3 era, because afterwards, I'll be playing PvZ2 and potentially some SCP Containment Breach mods.